Hi everybody, welcome to my next video. What I'm doing on this one is just showing you how I actually created my swap card for the Stampin' Up swap that was hosted a few weeks ago now. It was a wheel swap. The first thing that I actually needed was my Versamark pad, available from Stampin' Up. I needed my wheel, and this was the So Swirly wheel that I actually used, and inside here you see there I've actually got my Old Olive cartridge, just a favourite of mine. Obviously it's a jumbo wheel. I've also used the corner rounder. I can actually get hold of these. Obviously you can use a different corner rounder. This one's the Stampin' Up one, only available in America, but I do know somebody who's actually got quite a few of these, so if you're actually wanting one, then just get in touch and I can supply you with one of those. You also need a ribbler. Now somebody asked me what a ribbler was. It's a bit like a crimper. Okay, this is what it does. You just turn the little handle at the side here to actually crimp your paper, and this is what we're going to use to add the texture to our card. The next thing that we actually need is just an embossing tool. I just use a double-ended one. It's got a large embossing on one side and a smaller embossing ball on the other. Okay, so we'll start now. Now what I've actually done is cut a piece of green card. This is certainly celery, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not too sure of my names. It's a nice certainly celery colour anyway. And I've cut this to probably about 8 centimetres, 8.5 centimetres square. I've got a chocolatey brown, because I can't find the black Stampin' Up colour card. But obviously if there is one out there, then just let me know. I've cut this one to about 7.5 centimetres square, so it'll sit perfectly. So I've got a little border at the bottom, border at each side, and one at the top. You see there, it's just fractionally smaller. Okay, and what I've actually done is taken my white card. This is your white Whisper white card, and what I've actually done on that one, as you can see there, I've actually stamped. Now I've done this one in black, obviously just to show you how to work your swirly wheel. What I'm actually going to do is just pull out this little tab here, just pop that to one side, click that into place, and you're ready to go. Now what I would say is just get it warmed up a little bit and just go. Okay, so you can see there we've got the swirls coming. Okay, all I do to clean it off is just push this back into place. It clicks back into place. Pop the cover back on the top and just get that into there. And all I do is just run that just onto a spare piece of card, just to get rid of the excess. You can clean it with a baby wipe if you want. They're actually quite resilient. You can see mine's actually quite dirty now, but I tend to usually stick to black or Old Olive, so it doesn't really matter either way whether I clean it or not. I suppose I'm a bit of a scruff really. Okay, so what I've done is I've rolled onto me Whisper White, and just get rid of this little section here. There we go, get a nice clean piece. You might see what I'm doing. So I've rolled onto my Whisper White with my wheel. Okay, I've done it twice, one in each direction, so I've got the variation on pattern there. Okay, and then I've gone straight over with my Versamark pad. Okay, so just take your lid off, and all I've done is go straight over the top of with my Versamark, straight over the top of the ink. Obviously leave time for your ink to dry in between. So get it nice and evenly covered. Okay, plenty of ink on there. And then what I've done is taken a holographic embossing powder, so one with a nice little bit of a sparkle in there, and just sprinkle that over the top. Okay, just shake off the excess. There we go. And it's got the powder on there. Now what I would do, if I wanted to be really noisy, is to actually heat that up with a heat gun. But I've already done that. You can see the little bit of a sparkle coming through there. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is just take the corner rounder. Just going to take that, just pop it into the corner there. You see there I've just rounded that little corner off. You can see just there. Okay, so here's one that I did earlier, good old Blue Peter style. And what I want to do now is just take my ribbler. Okay, so we're going to heat emboss it first, and I'm going to take my ribbler, just position that. Obviously you can get larger ones as this one, I don't use mine that often. So what I'm going to do is just turn it in there. You see it's just pulling the paper through. Okay, you see all the little ribbly patterns coming out onto the other side. Okay, so I'm going to pop it back in, This is ribbled left to right, you can see just there. I'm actually out in my shed at the moment, so it's probably not too easy to see. What I'm going to do is put it back in so the ribbles go from top to bottom, and just ribble it again the other way. And this will actually create a cheesecloth effect. I don't know if you can see that very well there. Okay, so I've got a little pattern going on there, just like little squares. You can probably see it down in this bottom corner down here better than anything. Okay, so what I need to do now is put my card together. The other thing that I've done is punch out 3 little flowers. Okay, so 3 little flowers. This was the X-cut punch, just a little flower punch that I've got. And what I've actually done is I wanted it this way up. So just to add a little bit more definition to it, just pop it down onto your work surface. I've got a little foamy parchment mat that I tend to use. Just go over each of the leaves on the back and then go around. Just move my finger out of the way. So over each of the leaves and then round in a circle. Do that on all the 5 petals. Then flip it over and just repeat that in the middle. Okay, so we've got 3 of those ready. I've also created some little, well, like little buttons, I suppose you could call them, and they're just out of the circle punch, Stampin Up circle punch. And again with that one, all I'm going to do is just go round the back and then into a circle, and that'll just press it into shape for you. Okay, so if you just keep going round and round and round and round and round, what you'll actually get is like a little rounded button. You see where it's slightly rounded on the edges. Okay, so I can put the card together now. Now for my card I've used Tombow adhesive. I found this one really good. This is your Tombow adhesive. Okay, your multi. Absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to stick everything together now. So just a little splodge of glue. You don't need too much. Okay, so I'll just put that across there. A little bit more. Okay, so that's going to do my first layer there. So stick that one straight onto your cardstock. Obviously in between you would leave them a little bit of time to dry. Then I'm going to go on with my glitter card that I've created. Okay, so that's going to go onto there. It doesn't matter which way around you put it. Okay, so just stick that on. And again, prop something heavy onto the top of it just to keep it nice and flat. With my little flowers. So I'm just going to pop these down the side. It's not going to look exactly like the ones that I actually did in my swap, but it'll look near enough. Okay, so 2, and there's my 3rd one. And then just use one of the Stampin' Up dimensionals on the back of your little dots, and they will just go over the centres of your flowers. You can add adhesive pearls if you wanted to, or some black adhesive gems. And that's my little card finished. And that's what I did on my swap card there. Nice and shiny. You see it glistening now. Okay.